Hello, and thank you for stopping by. It's the day after the elections, but I don't want to talk about politics today. I'm kind of going through something personal, and I wanted to talk about it because I think talking about it could potentially help somebody else that's going through the same situation. And what I mean is that Saturday, my aunt passed away. Now, I wasn't really that close to my aunt. My mom was more closer to her because they were sisters than I was, because I didn't see my aunt that often after 1984, when I broke away from the family and roamed around a lot and went through a lot of personal transitions. Um, my mother is the one I'm speaking about now because how do you console a loved one? What do you say? It's your mom. And, she lost Aunt Jean back in the 70s. Her son, a Vietnam veteran, had PTSD problems and he was disturbed, psychologically imbalanced. And he believed that an evil force was trying to kill his mother and take her to hell. And he believed that if he killed her, that she would go to heaven, and so that's what he tried to do. He left the gas going in the house, and she lit a cigarette, and the house exploded. And she didn't die. She ended up in the hospital for a very long time, suffering. He ended up in a mental ward. He has since passed away, but as he got better and he realized what he had done, he was very sorry for it. You have to still take responsibility for your actions, regardless of why you do something. But moving forward, about 1984, I broke away from the family. I had intermittent conversations with mom and dad and my sister. I just kind of left them in a lurch because I had to get away from the family. I had issues happen when I was much younger, and I couldn't handle having them happen to me again. So I left, and I figured they would just forget about me over time and go on with their lives, and everything would be hunky dory. And that wasn't the case. Mom had thought I had passed away, and she grieved for a very long time. I eventually ended up getting back in contact with mom and dad, and about 2008, I think it was 2008, when I moved to where I'm living now. I had gotten in contact with mom and dad, and that in turn had got me in contact with my sister and various other family members. Um, my Aunt Jo, who is the aunt that just passed away, I didn't talk to her very often, but I wrote her letters after the family got back together again. I wrote her Christmases and birthday cards and Mother's Day cards and things of that nature, and she liked them when she got them. I don't keep in touch with the family very much. I'm not one for talking on the phone. I don't write letters very often, but when we talk, it's as if nothing had ever happened, no time had ever passed. But upon doing that, I never realized how the other person was thinking, what the other person was feeling. And a lot of times we're like that. We have a lot of things that happen in our life, and we don't think about the other person's feelings. We think about ours, and if we're doing great, we assume everybody else is. And that's not always the case. And I'm very sympathetic to somebody else's feelings when I know that they're upset or hurt. It pains me greatly for people to be upset. I get very attached to people very easily. That's why I stay single, because when I get attached, I end up losing them, and it hurts extremely badly. Um, So, how do you deal with the loss of a loved one when you're consoling your family member, such as your mom or your dad? It would be a little easier for my dad if one of his family members passed away, but Dad passed away back in 2010, I think. Times escape me sometimes. My sister says 2014. I think it was 2010 when it happened. But regardless of that, that was very difficult for Mom, although she had gotten prepared for it. And what I mean by prepared for it was that he was sick for a while. My dad had Alzheimer's coming in, and he had Parkinson's disease setting in. And he had a bit of dementia as well. And the day that Dad ended up in the hospital for the very last time, Mom was in the bathroom taking a bath, and Dad was walking into the living room from the bedroom after taking a nap. And as he was walking into the living room, Dad lost his balance and fell down and hit his head on the console TV that we had. And it threw him into a coma. And he ended up in the hospital. And they revived him once. And Mom said if he slips back into a coma, just let him go. Please, just let him go. I don't want him to suffer. And I feel the same way. I mean, a lot of times people, they want to drag on because they can't handle the pain of losing somebody, but they're not thinking of the other person, how the other person is feeling. When you're in a coma, and even if you're in a vegetative state, but you're not in a coma, you're in a vegetative state, you're laying there in the hospital. And I mean, when you're all together, the hospital beds aren't comfortable. So you can imagine how painful it has to be in a vegetative state and be laying in the hospital bed. So I say just love the person enough to let them go. You know, my mom is very strong. She's used to putting up with stuff. She's used to taking stuff. She's used to holding stuff in. I want to be there for my mom. Well, I want to be there for Mom. My sister and Allison, Mom's their mom too. So, but I want to be there, but I don't know how to be there because I don't know what to say, and it's difficult. No matter what you do, it's going to sound phony. It's going to sound like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Or, oh, you know, if you just remember them, they will never go, you know. So it's like, what do you do? How do you fix this? Maybe you can't fix it. Just be there. Now, I'm not going to bring biblical into this very much. I'm just going to say this. Back in the Old Testament, there was a man by the name of Job. And God took his hedge away from Job so Satan could torment him, just to prove a point that Job would stay faithful to God. And during Job's torment, his neighbors had no idea exactly what was going on with him, but two of his neighbors came down and sat with him for days, enduring his pain, not saying nothing, just sitting there with him. Because they realized that no matter what they said, it wasn't going to make it better, and it wasn't going to take it away. So they just sat there in silence. And although I did send my mother a card, I found a card with flowers on the front, sparkly flowers, and it had two birds. And the reason I picked that card was because the two birds reminded me of my mom and my aunt. If I could have found another one with three birds on it, that would have been even better. But I found one with two birds, and it was a birthday card, so I pasted in a piece of label tape, and then I printed a label to go on top of that to my mom, and then I wrote underneath it. But I just, it's one of those things where you just don't know how to help someone that's going through something. If you have been through this yourself and you would care to comment in the comments below and share your experiences, I would greatly appreciate that, and I'm sure other people could probably get some sympathy or get some knowledge out of what you have to say. Maybe you figured it out and you know how to console the other person. But if you don't, and you just want to share your experiences, please put it in the comment below. You never know, something you write might help somebody else. And also, if you like the videos I do, please give it a thumbs up. I know this is pandering to my base, but which I am very grateful for. The very few followers or subscribers that I do have, I am very thankful to you, and I keep you in my prayers, hoping that you're all safe. Also, if you want to subscribe so you can be notified when new videos come up. I don't do videos very often, but when I do, I try to make them count. So I'm going to let you go on this note. Remember, make tomorrow better than yesterday by doing the very best we can today. And if you can help somebody, please do that. And remember, Republican or Democrat, we're all in this together, so please let us work together to bring America together so we can go into a brighter future. Have a good afternoon, America, and all points beyond.